Welcome to Wisdom of the Bible channel. Abraham, the patriarch not only of the people of Israel but also of the Arab nations, is one of the most intriguing figures of antiquity. The biblical account in the book of Genesis presents his journey of faith and challenges, but there is one detail that rarely receives the attention it deserves: his family. Did you know that Abraham had a brother who is rarely mentioned in the scriptures? A brother who died while still in the land of Ur of the Chaldeans, and whose story is shrouded in mystery. Today we will explore this enigmatic character and his connection to a well-known name, Lot. Who, after all, was Lot's father? What really happened to him? And why does his story seem to have been forgotten over the centuries? If you want to uncover this biblical mystery, be sure to like this video, comment below, and share it so more people can learn about this surprising story. Abraham's lost brother. For centuries, scholars and curious minds have delved into the Holy Scriptures in search of answers about Abraham's enigmatic journey. However, a key piece of this story has been systematically overlooked: his family. To truly understand who this patriarch was, it is not enough to know only about his deeds and divine promises. It is essential to unravel the cultural and genealogical fabric that shaped him. What was his perspective on neighboring peoples? What language did he speak? In what exact historical period did he walk the earth? Answering these questions is crucial to reconstructing his identity authentically, but there is a frequently forgotten detail, a name that rarely receives the attention it deserves: Haran, his deceased brother. And before we move forward, it is important to clear up a common misconception. Haran should not be confused with Aram. Although their names sound similar, they are completely distinct figures within the biblical narrative. Haran was a native of Ur of the Chaldeans, a vibrant city rich in cultural influences, the son of Terah and brother of Abraham, Nahor, and Sarai. According to the scriptures, Haran was the first of Terah's sons to start a family, establishing himself before his brothers and leaving behind an important legacy through his descendants. Among them, three fundamental names stand out: Lot, Iscah, and Milcah. Lot, later known as Abraham's nephew, would play a crucial role in the patriarch's saga, becoming a key figure in one of the most enigmatic episodes of the scriptures, the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah. Meanwhile, Milcah and Iscah, his daughters, carried an ancestral tradition of strategic matrimonial alliances intended to preserve the family's bonds and faith. But why did Haran die so early? Was it merely a misfortune, or is there a greater mystery behind his death? The scriptures do not detail the exact circumstances, leaving room for speculation that challenges conventional logic. One of the most intriguing aspects of this narrative is the family and matrimonial structure that governed the lives of the ancient Semites. Marriage was not simply a bond between two individuals. It was a meticulous strategy for preserving cultural and religious identity. There was an unbreakable rule: children had to marry within their own kin, uniting with members of the same people and faith. This norm was taken almost ritualistically seriously. The idea of mixed marriages, involving individuals of other ethnicities or beliefs, was seen as an existential threat, capable of fragmenting the tribe and diluting its essence. And within Abraham's family, this practice was firmly established. Take, for example, Nahor, another brother of Abraham. He married his own niece, Milcah, the daughter of Haran. This type of alliance not only strengthened family ties, but also ensured that traditions and customs were perpetuated without external interference. Another emblematic example is found in Abraham's own marriage. He was united with Sarai, his half-sister. Many mistakenly interpret that Abraham lied when he claimed Sarai was his sister, but in reality he was stating a fact according to the kinship norms of the time. Sarai was the daughter of the same father, Terah, but of a different mother. This distinction made their marriage fully acceptable within ancestral traditions. The story of Haran, often relegated to oblivion, emerges as an essential component in deciphering the past of Abraham and the impact of his lineage on the destiny of humanity. His descendants not only intertwined in the formation of fundamental alliances, but also carried the torch of a tradition that would shape entire civilizations. Semitic tribalism, resistance to intermixing, and the preservation of faith were more than mere customs. They were survival strategies in a world where identity could easily be erased. A fascinating curiosity about ancient Semitic peoples, including the Chaldeans and Assyrians, is that polygamy was a a widely accepted and common practice. Men could have more than one wife, forming large families with numerous sons and daughters. This family structure not only reinforced alliances between clans, but also played a strategic role in the perpetuation of lineages and social stability at the time. A notable example of this is Abraham himself, who took Sarai as his wife, while his brother Nahor married his own niece Milcah, the daughter of Haran. These unions were not merely marital bonds, but represented fundamental connections in the formation of nations and ethnic groups. However, one aspect often overlooked by modern theologians and scholars is the impact of Haran's lineage on the configuration of various Middle Eastern peoples. Haran was not merely Abraham's brother, he also figures as an ancestor of part of today's Jordanians. His descendants gave rise to peoples such as the Moabites and Ammonites, since his son Lot, Abraham's nephew, became the patriarch of these nations. The genealogical connections between Haran and biblical figures do not stop there. Haran is part of the direct ancestry of Jacob, the patriarch of Israel. But how did this happen? Jacob was the son of Rebekah, who was the daughter of Bethuel. Bethuel was the offspring of Nahor and Milcah was the daughter of Haran. This means that through this lineage, Jacob also carries a legacy tied to the Chaldeans, demonstrating the interconnection between the Semitic peoples of that era. Beyond its genealogical relevance, the very name Haran holds deep meanings that echo through time. Its origin traces back to ancient Semitic languages, particularly Assyro-Babylonian, a language derived from Akkadian. In the Babylonian linguistic context, Haran can be as freedom, free, or liberated, suggesting a possible symbolic connotation regarding the destiny of his descendants. Interestingly, in ancient Sumerian, the word Haran takes on a different meaning, referring to path, road, or even caravan. This dual linguistic significance is intriguing, as many of Haran's descendants became nomadic traders who traversed vast regions of the Near East. These linguistic interpretations reflect not only Haran's identity, but also the trajectory of his descendants, who became travelers, conquerors, and founders of civilizations. The depth of Haran's genealogical and etymological meanings demonstrates how every detail in the scriptures may contain hidden connections waiting to be uncovered. When we examine the book of Genesis, we encounter enigmatic passages filled with mysteries. One intriguing example is found in Genesis 11:28. Haran died in the presence of his father Terah in his homeland, called Ur of the Chaldeans. This verse raises a question that has puzzled scholars for centuries. Under what circumstances did Haran, the brother of Abraham and son of Terah, die? The biblical text does not provide specific details about his death, leaving this question open. However, within ancient Jewish tradition, there are writings that suggest a possible explanation for this mystery. One such text is the Book of Jubilees, which was considered canonical by some groups in the past. According to this book, Haran's death occurred in a tragic accident involving a fire. Some scholars speculate that this event may be related to the context of religious persecution in Ur of the Chaldeans, where the worship of pagan gods was predominant, and any form of dissent could result in severe punishment. Although the account in the Book of Jubilees is not universally accepted, it adds an extra layer of complexity to Haran's story, showing how even secondary characters in the biblical narrative can have deep and significant histories. The study of these connections allows for a broader understanding of events and the cultural influences of the time, revealing how the history of the patriarchs intertwines with the formation of ancient civilizations. According to the narrative in the Book of Jubilees, Abraham, outraged by the rampant idolatry in Ur of the Chaldeans, especially within his own household, took drastic action. In his anger, he set fire to the temple of idols, destroying the images within. As the fire spread, his brother Haran desperately tried to extinguish the flames to save the idols. However, in his attempt, he was consumed by the fire, dying before the eyes of his father, Terah. Although this version is not found in the biblical account, it provides a broader context for the religious conflicts of the time and Abraham's firm stance against idolatry. This story offers an intriguing perspective on the traditions surrounding Abraham and his family. An interesting detail is that Abraham attempted to persuade his father, Terah, to abandon idolatry. Terah himself had already shown some weariness regarding the carved images and false gods worshipped in Ur of the Chaldeans. According to the Book of Jubilees, these idols were not merely inanimate figures, but representations of impure spirits. It is worth noting that the tradition of the god of Shem and the god of Noah was already present in Abraham's family, influencing his view on idolatry. According to the Book of Jubilees, it was within this context that the tragic death of Haran occurred in the land of Ur of the Chaldeans. After this loss, Haran was buried there. Following these events, Terah decided to leave Ur and journey toward the land of Canaan. However, along the way, he temporarily settled in Padan Aram, where he remained for some time before the family continued their journey. I hope you enjoyed this content. If you found it interesting, feel free to share it with those curious about the history of Abraham's family. May God bless you all, and see you soon.
Hello, dear viewers. Thank you for watching our channel, Wisdom of the Bible. I personally invite you to subscribe to our channel. It supports us and helps us create more videos. Thank you, and God bless you.